I think it's kind of interesting that he's probably going to be the only inductee where his mother and father are also in the Hall of Fame. He's in it, and I suspect his sons will be there someday in the future. He's been in racing since he was 6 years old. His first job was at the old Latrobe Speedway, where he would run the lineups up and down for his mother, who was up in the booth. Jack Freeman was on the flag stand, and that's how they communicated. We've come a long way since then. Best part of racing, he loves the winning, doesn't like to lose. Doesn't happen often, but he doesn't like it. Probably the most memorable moment in racing was when he won the Silver Cup, the Don Martin Memorial, on July 23rd, 2002. We're going to talk about that when he comes up. Another thing that's unique with Lynch Racing, if you ever go down to the Quaker Steak and Lube, his car is hanging from the ceiling. Obviously, it doesn't have all the pieces in it because it'd be too heavy, but it's kind of nice to see that up there on the ceiling. That's at Robinson Town Center, and it's also ended up in Cleveland at an area restaurant in Valley View where it's on display by their salad bar. Obviously, he got involved because of his parents, and their involvement goes way back. The first time I met Ed and Jean, I was selling toys at Kaufman's in Monroeville. And they came in and I recognized them, and that's when the slot cars were pretty popular, and they wanted to know if they had a little coupe number 32, because that's what Ed was running. We couldn't help him with that, but they did get the car. He doesn't have a favorite competitor. That's probably because he beats them all the time. Championships and victories, Western Pennsylvania Rookie of the Year 1983, Cavalcade, the #1 Cochran Cavalcade champion 7 times, 5-track championships at 4 different tracks, leading sprint winner at Lernerville, Challenger, Jennerstown, Sharon, and Pittsburgh, 226 career sprint car wins, including 105 at Lernerville and 50 at Sharon, voted the top 25 in North American sprint car poll 6 times. At the end of 2010, he achieved national recognition from Speed TV in their Decade's Dazzling Dozen. In Sprint Car and Midget magazine of last year, February issue, he was listed as one of the drivers of the decade. In March, he made the national rankings in the North American 410 Sprint Car poll. The World of Outlaws included Ed in their and his 2L and his sprint car in the Xbox 360 game. R&R Enterprises in Fenton, Missouri produced his 2L in 2 sizes, a 118 and 164 scale, and sent them to vendors all over the United States and Australia. Ed Lynch Jr. But I'll talk about something that most people don't know about. A long time ago, you were recovering from an auto accident, and they had a fundraiser for Scott Bidwell down in Harmerville. And you got up from your sick bed to get down there and sign autographs to raise money for that young man.
I remember that down in Harmerville. Was that at Denny's restaurant or something like that? And then, but it really it showed what racing people are about. You know, when some people are down and out, you can help pick them up, and if you put a smile on somebody's face, that's well deserved, well needed, and you know, there's fans out there that don't like you and fans out there that love you, and but you're important to everybody because you're in the racing community.
Because you win so much, you have a lot of fans that don't like you. One night at Lernerville, races are over, pouring down rain, everybody's trying to find a dry spot. He's walking behind the grandstands, and a mentally challenged young man, 8 or 10 years, wanted an autograph, and you stopped in a pouring down rain to give that kid an autograph.
Oh, it's always been important to me. You know, it's so many professional sports that people don't have time, or they want to charge or something like that, and that's never been in dirt track racing or really any form of racing that I know of. Nobody charges. I know Tony Stewart, I know Casey Kane, I know you know, a lot of those guys, and they've always given autographs as much as they can. They have to get to where they have to go, but for me, it's always been big for me. When I was young, I remember it, and I have boys myself, and they like autographs from late model guys, you know, and stuff like that. So it's part of the racing community that we have to rejuvenate, in my eyes, The average fan, I was just told, at a World of Outlaw deal was 40.3, you know, in our racing. There's so many things for the kids to go and do now, and there's so many options, and even for other fans. So we need to rejuvenate. We need to bring that back in, and giving an autograph is just nothing if it puts a smile on somebody's face.
Another time, above and beyond a Call of Duty, we were doing a TV show in Bridgeville about 5-6 years ago called We're Going Racing. And I asked him if he would bring his car done. I figured he'd go to work, go home, get the car, and bring it done. That's not what happened. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I had to bring it down in the middle of the night and brought it down there and slept down there. And we didn't want it to rain like it did, but we thought it was going to really take off and do well. And you put a lot of effort to it, and we did what we could, and we were glad to help.
So many people don't understand this. And I said a lot of people, they don't like you because you win a lot. But the night you won the Don Martin Memorial, I had the pleasure of interviewing you in Victory Lane, and that night everybody loved you. The stands were rocking and rolling. One of your crew members came down, almost tackled me, and that's not easy. I'm fairly large in size, but he almost knocked me over.
That was a memorable night. You know, it was one of those nights that many racers have where the car just is part of you, and you could run 100 laps on the deal, and it felt right. In a sprint car, you feel good about 10 laps out of the race. You're either beginning and you're like, oh boy, it's going to get ugly at the end, or you're really good at the end and you want to hurry up and get there. But that night the car was good all night long, and yes, I do realize that. You know, A.J. Foyt has said a long time ago, you're doing well when you got 50% of the people in the stands that hate you and 50% that love you. So you know you're doing well, but on a night that's a World of Outlaw night, it's very common to see an Ed Lynch Jr. shirt and the same group in the stands were not cheering you on a regular Friday night. But that's part of racing, that's part of success. And that's why we do it. We do it to win. We don't do it to go out there and just run in the mid-pack or at the end. And my father has put that into me, and my mother is always demanding of good finishes. And my sister has been along for the ride the whole time. Her boys have come along, and they really like it, Bobby and AJ, and I have Cy and Ed, and Eric there really keeps the car under me and keeps me from getting too hyper. You know, sometimes sprint car drivers are a little bit excitable. I don't know, but that's about it. That probably comes from my dad on that. But
you think?
I think. But you know, we've been a family sport. It's been family for us always. I think you were shocked one time we did a TV deal out there at the race car garage, and you came out to the race car garage and you thought you were going to see like Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s garage or something like that, and it was just a pole building with some, you know, we just work on making things fast and not doing anything else. You work on what you have, and you make. My dad's always told me you make a race car faster. You know, and if it feels good, put it in there, but you can't make a crash race car go faster.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ed Lynch Jr. Couldn't believe it when I went to his garage. Just a basic, maybe 3 or 4 car garage. I expected something really elaborate.